Button. Hello, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for joining Dynamics 365 Marketing Tech Talk virtual event today. Myself, Kulapan, a fast-track solution architect, part of Dynamics 365 engineering organization at Microsoft. I've been with Microsoft for over 8 years and have over a decade of experience in implementing dynamic solutions for our customers from Microsoft and also from partner side. Along with me, Turge Altekin would also be presenting. Turge, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Coles. My name is Turge Altekin, and I work as a senior fast-track solution architect within the fast-track for Dynamics 365 team. I'm based in Prague, Czech Republic, and today we are going to present you the marketing tech talk together with Coles. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Turge. Before we start the full session, would like to provide you some information regarding the session. While the session is in progress, if you have any questions, you may put them in the chat window, and we would respond to you in the chat. And at a later point after the session, if you have any questions and you need any more clarification, you may also reach out to us in LinkedIn, and we would get back to you. All right, let's get started. Thank you again for everyone for joining the meeting. Let's get started. Today we'll be discussing Dynamics 365 Marketing Tech Talk. Here's the agenda. Let's quickly discuss the agenda for the session today. We have captured some learning in the marketing product area, and it's primarily aimed to provide you an overview of Dynamics 365 marketing product, and sharing the best practices, available resource for you and our customers to utilize this product successfully. Right. So here's the agenda for the session today. We'll be touching on various aspects of Dynamics 365 marketing product. We'll talk about introduction to Dynamics 365 marketing. I'll talk about functional and architectural overview. Then how do you do the configuration and management? We'd also share the best practices in various topics within Dynamics 365 marketing. And we'll also discuss about extensibility and reporting, data protection resource, and available resources for you. So let's talk about Dynamics 365 marketing. Let's talk quickly about marketing a little bit. Dynamics 365 marketing is a product application built on top of Microsoft Power Platform to help marketing functions of the organizations. As we know, marketing is an important engine for any businesses to grow, as the marketing teams in the organization helps creating ways to identify new set of business segments and customers. It is very important to have a sales and marketing team in an organization working together on a common data and have a connected business processes. So Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing provides a friendly solution to serve this need and provides a unified visibility of marketing operations. Dynamics 365 marketing product has the capabilities to generate leads or prospective customers from multiple channels like email, web landing pages, webinars, phone call, in-person events, and also through LinkedIn. This product also enables the organization to make smarter decisions based on some of the inbuilt intelligent capabilities, interaction insights that are available from marketing campaign. Let's quickly look at why Dynamics 365 marketing, right? Dynamics 365 marketing was strongly requested by partners and our customers over the years, even when other players were providing marketing capabilities for CRM and the Dynamics. For customers, Dynamics 365 marketing is secure, it is trusted and compliant on Microsoft Azure Cloud. And now it lives together with Dynamics 365 sales on the same platform. No need for any connectors and align sales and marketing with the common data and connected business processes. And it has unique capabilities such as event management, surveys. It has connected to LinkedIn. Event management also helps organize you the events with ease. Surveys helps you better understand your customers, and so on. Various different other capabilities it has, and it has scalable architecture that manages contact data and interaction data separately, and it's very easy to configure, use, and extend capabilities, right? And it uses for the partner side of the house, it uses this, and I can see that it uses the same CDS. CDS is Common Data Service. Same CDS customizations as sales and service in marketing. And it uses the same tool set and concepts as CDS and Power Apps are applied here. It has the same compliance level as Microsoft, Azure, right? And for Microsoft, this is the only enterprise customer engagement provider that offers a fully completely complete suite of applications via one platform, right? So it's I would say that it's a strategic marketing platform for sales, service, and other Dynamics workloads with the marketing integrations online. So let's look at the functional overview about Dynamics marketing and various capabilities of Dynamics marketing here quickly. So here's again the quick summary about the key features of Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing. Let's see each of them quickly here, right? And as you can see that very lead capabilities of multi-channel campaigns. It has lead nurturing capabilities, event management. It has inbuilt insights and reporting. Let's see quickly each of them. And using the key capability of multi-channel campaign, it actually it uses to attract best leads from multiple channels like email, web landing pages, webinars, phone calls, or in-person events. And it has customizable templates for emails and landing pages to help you start multi-channel campaigns quickly. It has very capabilities of personalizations. The marketers can personalize the marketing content and can get started quickly. And it has that capability of nurture leads with the personalized experiences. Marketing tool, Dynamics 365 marketing has a journey designer tool and templates that help you create multi-step, multi-channel campaigns to guide your buyer based on how they engage during campaigns, right? And use business processes flow to automatically hand off leads to sales and drive follow-ups quickly and easily. And you can see that it has rule-based dynamic segmentation capabilities to identify target audience for customers, and we can set up multiple lead scoring models and sales readiness grades to prioritize leads who are ready to buy your products. You can gather insights based on the interactions by your campaign audience. You can set up business processes to get notifications on marketing activities. And you can see that also has event management capabilities here. Through that event management inbuilt capabilities inside Dynamics 365 marketing, you can organize events with ease using integration with webinar provider ON24. And you can use the events portal to in-person events activities like sessions, speaker, venue management, and also track registration and attendance. Right? You don't need to develop anything new. Everything is inbuilt in Dynamics 365 marketing. And you can also track and improve marketing performance using out-of-the-box dashboards and insights. It has the inbuilt capabilities. Once that campaign is started, it has the real-time dashboard and insights where it captures who opened the email, how many times opened the email by your customers. And you can also, it gives you very friendly way to understand about your customers and take respective actions. And you can also use the inbuilt capabilities of surveys to you can run surveys to better understand your customers and visualize data using embedded Power BI dashboards. Right? And Dynamics 365 marketing has a simplified admin experience and templates and designer tools that make it easy for you to configure the solution to work for your business, right? And recently we have added, a few capabilities last year, LinkedIn and social integration. It has the capabilities of website personalization. You can host your websites, and it has dynamic segmentation and multiple lead scoring, and it has integration internally. And it also has AI capabilities, inbuilt AI capabilities, as you can see. That includes smart scheduling, segment boost, and spam core. And smart scheduling, it actually identifies, when is that respective customers likely to open the email. Based on that, it actually sends that email, even though the email is being triggered for send from Dynamics 365. It understands and it keeps learning about the respective customers or your consumers. Spam scoring feature applied is another feature that applied the artificial intelligence to analyze the content of marketing email message and generate a score that predicts how likely that message is going to be in the spam folders at the customer side, right? That's a very key capabilities. And another capability is that segment boost, that is also enabled through some of the artificial intelligence capabilities here. By analyzing the existing segments, this feature helps you find prospects and who resemble and behave like the best contacts from your current segment, right? So those are the very key capabilities, and we'll have some best practices to use these features would be covered in depth in the later part of this session, right? And now let's look at the architectural overview of Dynamics 365 product, right? So this is the pictorial representation of Dynamics 365 marketing architecture. It's a critical area for you to understand in Dynamics 365 marketing. And let me take you through quickly about how the architecture looks like, right? And our marketing application is built on top of Common Data Service, otherwise called as CDS. Architecturally, when Dynamics marketing application is provisioned through Dynamics 365 Admin Center, right? And it installs two different component modules internally. And the first part is mainly the CDS, the common data service, where all the marketing related solution packages would be installed. CDS is the place where, in the left hand side that you can see, is a place where all the native entities and portals reside and are leveraged for customizations, personalization, and configurations. The second component is the marketing service that is on the right hand side that you can see on the screen, and which will be hosted in Azure, and core marketing operations such as segmentation, sending customer journeys and emails, and tracking the insights, lead scoring, etc. Happens in marketing service, as the marketing related activities are highly analytical in nature, and we do not want these operations happening on the transactional database like CDS, and it would be too much load on common data service side. And this marketing service is abstracted for the customers. Communication between CDS and marketing service happens internally inside the Microsoft ecosystem. Please note, and the data in CDS would be moved out of CDS for marketing activities. But rest assured that, as you see, that marketing service is part of Microsoft Azure, and the data is not going out of Microsoft Azure premises, and it is safe and compliant, right? And please note, the data sync to marketing is not synchronous. There will be some delays of a few minutes to replicate the data to marketing service from CDS. Let me talk to you in a little bit more detail. And currently, marketing service consumes the CDS data that is in the left-hand side using data sync framework, DSF, that you can see it on the screen. The system administrator, in Dynamics 365 marketing product, for the system administrator at the CDS side would be able to configure and enable the entities that are needed for marketing activities. Basically, marketing application internally uses Dynamics APIs to push the data into marketing service. That is on the right-hand side, hosted in Azure. Marketing internally uses Azure Blob Storage for storing the marketing-related data, right? Here, marketing application also interacts back to CDS to update contact records based on the insights that is captured based on some of the campaign activities that is captured in marketing service. That will be pushed back to CDS to update contact records. And there may be scenarios where out of the marketing campaign, you would need to create leads, right? The leads will be created in Dynamics 365, the CDS system. And everything is created through the inbuilt integrations. As you can see that marketing service internally uses a channel access service, which is CAS. This service ensures that marketing service doesn't create too much load on the CDS side. The marketing service has different microservices internally, which interacts with the channel access service that queues up all the requests, and asynchronously the data gets updated to CDS. So there will be some delay. That's why the data messages are asynchronous. There might be some delay in sending the data back and forth, a marketing application to CDS and vice versa. And Dynamics 365 Marketing also provides an ability for our customers to access marketing interaction data into their own blob storage. That's for reporting purposes. We also have a Power BI content packs, data connector available through which interaction data that is collected at marketing service, like interaction data such as the email, how many emails have been delivered to which customers, and how many of them have been have opened the emails, and which link is opened, which link is not opened, and how many times the links are opened. All these very insights have been can be collected in Dynamics 365 marketing system. All this interaction data could be exported and transferred over to customers' own blob storage. And there is already an inbuilt PBI templates, Power BI templates available for you to make use of to see the reports out of interaction data. So that's the overall architecture about Dynamics 365 marketing architecture. And just recapping about this architecture, is we talked about marketing leverages common data service entity schema such as contacts, accounts, leads, or custom entities. And you'll be able to configure, as an administrator, you'll be able to configure data that are stored in CDS environment. And required CDS entities are replicated to marketing engine outside of CDS environment. So please note, not all the entities that is available in CDS are replicated. By default, we have certain entities that is enabled, like accounts, contacts. But if you needed any specific entities that needs to be available for marketing, and administrator can enable it separately through the configuration. So integration is very seamless between CDS and marketing engine. And marketing related activities such as segmentation, tracking, email messaging handled in the marketing engine, as we have seen. And moving on. So the next area is about marketing licensing, Dynamics 365 marketing licensing. It's for you to understand. It's key component for you to understand this. And here it's critical to understand the marketing application is licensed per organization in your tenant, and is primarily based on the contacts. Right here in normal Dynamics 365 CDS or CRM application, license are based on the application users. But here, Dynamics 365 marketing is licensed based on number of contacts that you can target, and it's per organization, right? And the Dynamics 365 marketing application licenses are assigned at the tenant level, and all marketable contacts used in tenants are counted against your number of contacts that you have purchased, irrespective of the instance, whether it's a production, non-production. It's based on number of contacts that has been used in marketing activities will be counted against that number of licenses. Customers will only be charged for the contacts that are engaged in marketing activities, right? Here are the three types of licenses that are available in Dynamics 365 marketing. So you can see Dynamics 365 marketing, we have standalone licensing, and we have Dynamics 365 marketing attached, and we have Dynamics 365 marketing additional application. Let's see what are those, each of them. And Dynamics 365 marketing standalone application is a separate application that you don't need a separate CDS, but it can work standalone. And it comes with base contacts with 10K contacts that you can target. And if you needed additional additional contacts, and you can purchase it separately on top of that, for top of the existing standalone licenses. And this doesn't require any Dynamics 365 other modules like sales or service modules. You don't need to purchase that. You can use it as a standalone marketing application. And or the customers with fewer than 10 Dynamics 365 apps licenses, right? You can use it as a separate standalone. And Dynamics 365 marketing attached, this comes along with other applications like sales, marketing and service. It has a base contacts of 10K, and it also comes up with the content packs or contact packs are available for you to purchase, where you can packs are available from 5K contacts up to 500K contacts. And this is included for customers with at least 10 Dynamics 365 apps plan license, right? And the third one is Dynamics 365 marketing application, additional application. Here you can buy separately the production and non-production marketing applications. And if you needed additional contacts, still you have that content packs that can be bought and added to your tenant. As I said, all these contacts are added to your tenant. And you have resources available online. We have provided the links here after the sessions. You can access this content, and Dynamics 365 licensing guide is published, and marketing related licenses information is available. And you also have frequently asked questions as well. And the next session, next part of this session is about Dynamics 365 marketing, configuration and management. How do you configure Dynamics 365 marketing, and how do you manage that instance? Let's quickly look that. So it is managed, basically the Dynamics 365 marketing is managed through admin center, your Office 365 admin center. You can access through admin.microsoft.com. Global administrator of your tenant will be able to access, and if you have bought Dynamics 365 marketing, it will be available as part of your admin center. And ensure that Dynamics 365 product license is added to your tenant. Once that product license is available, your admin will be able to view it in the admin center. And it is in the admin center, we have application tab. Under that application tab, marketing application would be available with the status of not configured, right? And through which admin will be able to configure seamlessly. And these are the configuration highlights that we have. It's configured through admin center. We have a centralized wizard experience for easy and seamless configuration, and configured on top of specific Dynamics 365 apps. Basically, when you install a Dynamics 365 marketing application, you will have to choose which underlying CDS instance would be using it if you have purchased along with if it's not a standalone application. And it has one Dynamics 365 application is configured with one Dynamics 365 customer engagement instance. One marketing application can be configured with only one Dynamics 365 customer engagement, whether it's sales or service instance. One marketing application cannot be configured with multiple CDS instance. It has one-to-one mapping. And it has the flexibility to configure marketing landing pages and even websites to your own web server. At the time of configuration, you have an opportunity to configure in the wizard, right? And we also have a link available and documentation available that actually provides a detailed steps on how to set up Dynamics 365 marketing. It's very easy steps available for you to move forward. Another key aspect is important to understand: how do you receive updates in Dynamics 365 marketing application, right? And as we will have Microsoft is continuously developing and improving online services. We develop that features, and we release the features in a faster cadence. And we have release cycles that are scheduled potentially every month for marketing, and it's critical to understand how do our customers really receive updates to Dynamics 365 marketing application. And it's the updates are managed through the admin center again, and through your configurations under applications tab. Administrator can access the application installation, and administrator has an opportunity to go in and receive the updates manually. Right, it's just a button that are available on the screen to receive updates. If there are updates available, it will show up that the existing version and what is a new version, right? And we also have a detailed documentation available to consume upgrades for Dynamics 365 marketing, and it's a very seamless process, but that would require admin to go into the admin center and receive updates at this point. Right, and the best practice for receiving update is that do not apply the upgrades directly in production environment first. We always recommend our customers to apply these updates on a sandbox environment first and test the application to ensure all your functionalities and processes works fine. And if everything looks good, and then proceed to apply on the production environment. It's a regular development lifecycle needs to be followed here. And in future state, sometime Microsoft plans to applying the updates automatically in the marketing applications available in the customer's tenant, so that administrator do not need to go in and receive the updates manually. At this point, our sales and customer service receives the features receive the updates automatically, and marketing will also be following the same lead in the future. And now we'll get into best practices for Dynamics 365 marketing, and I'll hand over to my colleague Turgay, who would be presenting further. Turgay, over to you.
Thank you very much, Coles, for the presentation so far. And for the best practices, we have compiled these best practices using our public documentation, using our sessions with our engineering managers, and of course, having previous experiences with the customers. And we will start providing some best practices around the email marketing. As you may know, email marketing is still the main pillar of the marketing, since almost everyone is using emails. And sending emails, marketing emails, is not the same as sending personal emails. So personal emails get delivered to just one or a few people, whereas marketing emails targets to many thousands or more in general. And in response to various email abuses like spam and scam, most companies and email providers implement filtering and blocking mechanisms to defend their bandwidth, and they would like to also keep users' inboxes clean. We need to make sure our email content and marketing configuration are complying with those common filtering strategies, so emails get delivered to the contacts rather than stuck in the spam filters. And all these best practices we are going to talk about is just to increase deliverability of an email, marketing email. And the first recommendation or best practice would be around the clean content. The email content should be as clean as possible. We have, these spam filters and sender reputation systems, they analyze the content of the email messages, and most common requirements are having unsubscribed links and the company's physical address in the message body. Okay, And I mean, if you don't have those, then you will have, let's say, less score than usual, and your email may land into the spam or junk folders of the contacts. Messages in HTML format should also include a plain text version that has the same information. By the way, as Coles discussed previously, we have recently released a feature which is called as Spam Score. It analyzes the content of marketing email message and generates a score from 0 to 100 that predicts how likely this message is to be flagged by the spam filters. Okay. And another best practice around email marketing is from authentication perspective. We have there are several standards in place to help ensuring sending IP addresses really represents the organizations they claim to. Okay, and of course, the messages should also be coming from those IP addresses. Okay, the most important standards include sender policy framework and domain keys identify mail protocol. SPF is to basically define which IP addresses can be used for sending an email for a particular domain. And DKIM verifies that email message is not altered or not changed. We as Microsoft are implementing the sender policy framework for customers by default, and we are doing what we can do to maintain a good sender reputation for all Microsoft sender IPs. So there is no action to be done from our customer side or partner side. And for the DKIM, everything is also managed by us. But the company email domain should be linked with Dynamics 365 marketing sending domain. And I mean, our customers and partners should contact our support team to configure this one. This is really important. And another best practice would be to take precautions for preventing the hardbounce. If you send a message to an invalid, inactive, or canceled email address, the message is typically returned as what is called as a hardbounce. Hardbounces are tracked by the reputation watchdogs or public providers. More hardbounces you have associated with your sending IP, the lower your reputation score would be. So those reputation score, I mean, they are being used for identifying spams. Email addresses associated with a hardbounce will probably never come back online, so we should exclude them from our databases. By the way, I mean, Dynamics 365 Marketing will automatically stop sending emails to these kind of addresses for 6 months before trying them again. Another recommendation is not to purchase or rent mailing lists, because there are several reasons. Such lists may violate GDPR consent laws or other local laws in other countries and regions. Rented and purchased lists are also very ineffective because they are likely to contain many expired addresses that will hardbounce, and they are likely to contain many contacts that aren't really interested in the customer products, and they may complain about these emails, and they may flag those emails as spams. And both these complaints and hardbounces will lower the sending reputation, and consequently, it will lower the email deliverability rate. Okay, this is really important. And also sending consistent volume of emails increases the reputation score. When you have a sudden spike in the volume of sending these emails, then your score will be lowered. As Microsoft, we maintain several IP addresses dedicated to sending messages from Dynamics 365 Marketing in each region, and we kind of balance these load among these different servers. So we are trying to keep this volume consistent over time for each IP. And each time we add a new sending IP to a region, we just warm it up by gradually increasing the volume it sends until it eventually reaches the same level as the other IPs in that region. And I mean, for most of Dynamics 365 marketing subscribers, this is handled automatically and invisibly. But there might be some new subscribers who may plan to send marketing messages to very large numbers of recipients, let's say in millions. Those might need to start small and ramp up over time before reaching full volume. If you encounter this situation, we would recommend contacting your fast track solution architect or Microsoft support for further guidance. By the way, also it's important to mention that when, as Microsoft, we notice that a particular customer is generating relatively high rate of bounces, hard bounces, or spam complaints, we are proactively reaching out to them and warning them, and we are offering our guidance. And after some time, if we don't see any action, then we are moving them to a higher risk sending pool to prevent other customers to be affected from this one. And of course, this movement, this operation reduces the deliverability of this problematic behavior. Okay. And from email marketing perspectives, so let's talk about the boundaries of the Dynamics 365 marketing in terms of the throughput. By default, we have a limit of 500K emails per day, okay, per organization. This number can be also extended by contacting our support team. But usually, I mean, in our telemetry, we see throughput around 100K per hour around sending these emails. But this really changes in different implementations. If the customer journey and the content of the email has a complex logic, then of course this may take more time than usual. But if you have a simple email, then you should be able to send it with higher throughput. And we have a limit on the email size. There's this HTML content of email messages has a maximum size limit of 128 kilobytes, which includes all HTML text, styles, comments, everything except external images that you would upload and use with an email message. If the HTML content exceeds this limit, then you will be still able to go live with this email, but you won't be able to go live with any customer journey that includes this particular email. Instead, this journey will always return a validation error for you. Okay. And there is one, let's say, limitation or by design limitation as of today, that we don't have any attachment functionality for marketing emails. And currently we don't have any roadmap item for it. And maximum size per image is 5 megabytes. Okay. And another recommendation is to test and evaluate your email design before using it. You can see and validate the final content after dynamic parameters are converted into values. We have this feature. I mean, you can just click test send. You can just run test send before going live with some email. I mean, you don't really need to go live to do a test send. We have this particular preview feature, and it's really a fast and convenient way to test the email designs. However, not all the features work with this preview and test send. For an example, I mean, you may have some dynamic data from related records and lookups. They won't be displayed in the email content. And another example would be these for each loops. Those would not be rendered as well. So for these particular scenarios, you can just run some mini or very basic customer journeys where you can just target one contact, and then you can do your test runs. And just for your information, we are also planning to have some enhancements about this preview feature, preview email feature. So stay tuned and review our release note for more information on 27th of January once it's released. Okay. And those were the best practices around the email marketing part. And from the orchestration perspective, I mean the campaign orchestration, our first, let's say, recommendation or the information is that the contact entity, I mean, this is really the most important entity of Dynamics 365 marketing. It is the center of this app. It's a must for running customer journeys, setting up segments, and sending emails. Okay. Of course, other entities can be also used, for an example, during segmentation filtering, but all these entities should be somehow connected or end up to a contact. Let's say that you have a Dynamics 365 sales app and you already have a duplicate detection rule, or perhaps you have developed your own plugin and you have registered it on the contact entity and you are doing some kind of duplicate detection with this plugin. You should design these business logic in a way that not prevent creation of marketing contacts. Okay, because the marketing contacts, I mean, typically they just contain some email address and basic information. Okay, and which would probably hit your checks, hit your validation. So you should design your plugins to exclude these kind of contacts. Or as an alternative, you may also consider using another instance just for marketing purposes. But it's just a trade-off. Then, I mean, if you go for that way, then you need to migrate these leads for handing off to the sales team. Okay, so it's just a trade-off. Try to use the marketing cap in the same instance as possible. But if it's not possible, then you can just leverage another instance for just for marketing purposes. As you may know, as also Coles mentioned briefly, we have this marketing form functionality. It's just to collect information from potential customers, and basically they should contain some required fields in the forms. Okay, and when you delete these required fields in the database, in the CDS database, you should also delete them from each marketing form manually. Okay, this currently, I mean, the app or the platform is not taking care of this one automatically. So if you don't do this one, the customers, I mean, in the end, when they receive these emails or when they open these marketing forms by clicking on some links, they will still see the form, but when they try to submit, it will fail. Okay. And we also recommend having some kind of approval process after marketers finish up setting a new record, such as after they prepare a marketing email. Okay, let's say that I worked on a marketing email, a fancy one. I've prepared the design, or I have prepared my campaign using the customer journey designer. I can, as of today, I mean, without this approval process, I can perhaps accidentally go live by just clicking on a button. Okay, and then it may end up sending lots of email to the contacts unintentionally. So this is, I think, really critical to have. So you should have this approval process on board, and with this particular feature, you can just send the records for approval with just single click. And based on how the approval workflow is set up, the relevant manager is then notified about this record, and then the manager can approve this particular request. Okay, and then afterwards the record goes live, and the campaign would run. Okay, We have released this feature. I mean, it's a full working feature process, approval process using Power Automate. I mean, you can also use other tools as well, but we have some very comprehensive sample in our public documentation website using Power Automate. We would definitely recommend leveraging that one. Okay. And we have the A/B testing recommendation. One of the ways to find out which email design will produce the best result is to try each email design on a different subset of audience, okay? And then analyze interaction records to see how each email design are perceived from our customers, okay? So you can see that which one got the most click, okay, which one got the most interaction, and then you can go for that one, okay. And the marketers call this process as marketing A/B testing. We have recently built this capability right into our product, so it's available out of the box. It allows marketers to create alternative versions of a message, and they can define their business goals for it. And the out-of-the-box system establishes a few small test groups within the target segment, and it sends a different version for each group. And it gathers these statistical analysis, and it automatically identifies the winning design based on the stated or defined business goal. And the winner design is, I mean, the email, then it just gets delivered to the rest of the segment. Okay, this is in general how it works. Another small best practice around the third-party SMS component, as you may know that we have this component. It's available within App Source. You can just install this one and use it within customer journeys as a custom tile to sending SMS messages. Okay, but as of today, I mean, this particular component supports a few languages. So before using it, before deciding to use it, just test it out and see whether it complies with your business requirements or not, and then you can use it, or you can decide to do or develop your own custom tile to send SMS messages. Okay. Around the orchestration part, the segmentation is really important part. I mean, it's basically the start of the designing the campaigns. Firstly, we recommend using the dynamic segments in general. The static segments are just for niche campaigns. They are not really user-friendly. You can, of course, use them, but I mean, whenever you try to use them, you can see that it's not really feasible. And they're just static. I mean, they are not dynamically gathering these members. And by the way, there are also some, we also have some kind of limitations. As of today, it's limited to have few thousands of members in a static segments. Although we are going to increase this limit in very, I think in next release, we are going to increase this particular limit. Stay tuned for the upcoming release notes. And you can create these segments, I mean, these dynamic segments, but when you create more than 100 active segments, it may cause some performance issues. Okay, there is already a limit of 1,000 active segments per organization to prevent any kind of failures. But I mean, of course, you may have unlimited number of segments in a draft stage. Okay, this is just covering the active segments which are live. And we also have another tip around the security or the privacy of the records. Segmentation engine by default leverages all contacts in the database regardless of the segment's author's access level. Okay, but we have recently released a feature to enhance the security. which is called scoping feature. By enabling this scoping feature, business unit scoped segments only contain contacts that belong to the same business unit as the segment owner is. Okay, even if the, let's say, segmentation criteria would otherwise find all contacts, I mean contacts belonging to the all business units. Okay, it's just up to the owner of the segments, not just for the segmentation criteria that we have. Okay, and it's not really specific to the segmentation. This feature can be also used for customer journeys, for lead contact creation matching, for lead scoring, and also for marketing insights, okay, for reporting purposes as well. Please check this one out. I mean, this is really a comprehensive feature, and I think it should be leveraged for most of for covering most of the security requirements of marketing app has. Okay. As also, I mean, Cole said before in few slides before. Before building this segmentation, building these queries for segmentation, you should select the entities to be used for segmentation, and then these records should be fully synced with the Azure. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to run segmentation. And depending on the size of this data, this initial sync may take some time. Okay, and to avoid delays on the data sync, we just recommend targeting lower than 1 million objects. Okay, and it's not only to avoid delays; it's also it will also provide better performance in segmentation, as well as lead scoring or dynamic content replacements in the emails. Okay, so this is one of our recommendation. And by the way, I mean, after this, let's say that we have we had this initial data sync, okay, and marketing app continues to replicate changes into Azure, okay, as Cole's discussed in the architecture slide. And when you have these frequent changes, okay, or the bad changes in the data, those may cause high data volumes to be synced to the Azure, and consequently, this may cause delays as well. Okay, it's not just the initial data sync. So whenever you plan for having batch updates in your CDS environment, then you should also think that this may affect marketing services as well. Okay, and currently our UI in the marketing app, I mean, it does not have this indicator on the data sync finish, or if we are missing data in the cloud, I mean in Azure, you won't have any indication as of today about this one. Okay, and just to give an idea, according to our recent telemetry, the average data sync throughput is approximately 10,000 records per minute per organization. Okay, I mean, let's say that you have updated 1 million contact, and those won't be available for segmentation in a short period amount of time. Okay, you just need to give some time. Okay, whenever you plan these batch updates, try to do it after hours, and during the business hours you should be able to use these particular records. Okay, and last recommendation is for the segmentation design. If you have already tried to design some segmentation, you should see that when you start with the contact entity, okay, since this contact entity has lots of related entities, sometimes you can be lost. Okay, you can scroll down to see to select the correct related entity, and time to time you may have multiple relations with the same entity, so you can, I mean, everything can be messed up. Okay, and our recommendation here would be to starting from this lowest level entity in this relationship tree. okay, and then you can end up with contact entity later on, okay. So you can select the lowest tier, and then you can go for the other parent related entities, unless you select the contact entity, okay. This is important. By the way, we also released recently, I think during November, we have released the templates for segments. Those are really great to start with. We have released around 20 out-of-the-box templates. They should provide good examples. You can learn from them. You can learn common techniques for designing your own segments. Okay, this is really a very good feature, and we totally recommend using that templates instead, starting from scratch. We also have a couple of best practices around release management of the marketing app. As Cole said, I mean, currently updates to marketing app should be applied manually using the applications page under the Dynamics 365 Admin Center. And we have seen that time to time this is causing some problems during solution deployment if those updates are not applied to each environment. Okay, let's say that you may update the app in your development environment, but if you don't apply it, let's say to your SIT or UAT environments, then you will really face some issues during the deployment of your solutions. Okay, therefore, as a best practice, marketing app versions should be the same in each and every environment. And of course, I mean, this is a general best practice. I mean, first test something in using your development environment, and then you can move them to other environments as well. Okay. And so how to do this deployment? I mean, because it's not like, I mean, very similar like sales and customer service, because there are also different aspects. Okay, for the deployment, you can use the configuration migration tool, or you can also use the web API, okay, to transfer the data, configuration data. But just bear in mind that the interaction data cannot be deployed since they are technically not on the CDS database. And by the way, another important thing is that, let's say that you have these segments, they are live in your development environment, and once you export them and once you import them in the target environment, those statuses will be dropped. So you need to initiate going live once again in the destination instance. This is also an important thing to consider. And I mean, as Cole's mentioned as well, I mean, this marketing app, it works slightly different than the other Dynamics 365 apps because we have these marketing services running on Azure, and we also have some data in the Azure blob storage, right? And we should be extra careful when creating copies or restoring backups. So we have created a really comprehensive official guideline, so you can check out on how to do these kind of operations. And basically, I mean, these copy or system backups, I mean, it just works for CDS data or customer engagement data. Interaction data is not supported, but for extreme cases when there is a need of restoring this marketing app, including all the interactions and all the marketing services, then please contact our support team beforehand, and we would like to help you to overcome these particular scenarios, extreme scenarios as well. Okay. And we will discuss further in a bit, but for the events management, typically customers and partners would like to extend the events portal. And a couple of times we have seen that the development team was not ready for it because it really needs Angular skills. And usually, I mean, we have seen that a couple of development team did not have that particular skill. So it's important to understand that these skills are basically needed to customize or develop your own event portals. Okay. Another best practice in this area is that if you already have a CMS system, content management system, you can use that one as well. So we recommend leveraging this one over out-of-the-box event portal. Okay, and do not even install this out-of-the-box portal during marketing app first setup. Okay, this is important. Then you need to you can have some headache around changing these all these setups from the out-of-the-box portal to your CMS. And finally, by default, when you have more than 50K records in events, sessions, or passes, you may encounter some issues. It's due to fetch XML aggregation limit. As you may know that there's a limit called aggregation query record limit, and that, I mean, for several scenarios you can extend that one. You can just contact our support team for getting an extension, but for performance reasons we would not recommend having more than 50K records around event sessions or passes. And let's check out how you can extend our app. By the way, I mean, for most of the marketing scenarios, okay, out of the box features, out of the box email and website personalization. I mean, we have really great personalization features. I mean, whenever you create some email, we are providing this dynamic content. You can select the variables, right? It will, for an example, it will gather the data automatically from contact or automatically from the related entities. You can run for each loops, or even you can create these content blocks, dynamic content blocks, and you can use these blocks in every emails, right? I mean, it's pretty comprehensive. I mean, but there could be some times where you should extend the system as well. Okay, and it's also really good to understand what are your options or what are your tools. Okay, so here you can see how you can extend this particular app. Firstly, since Dynamics 365 marketing app is using CDS platform, Power Platform, the existing capabilities, extensibility capabilities can be used, such as Web API, plugins, workflows. Okay, you can name all of those. Okay, BPF, business rules. I mean, whatever you can all use all of those if those are relevant for your marketing scenario. Okay, but it's important to understand those will be used for the processes and data which resides in the CDS. It's not for interaction data or marketing services which are running on Azure. And by the way, there are these we will discuss in a bit more. And then there another extensibility feature is around the marketing forms. So you can use JavaScript to extend marketing forms. We will come to that point as well. And you can create your custom additional channels like SMS, as we have discussed. So you can inject your business logic, or you can call some external web services by using these custom tiles. And we also have these extensibility on state changes, and the common scenario here would be having this approval feature, approval scenario, possibly including integration with Power Automate. And as I told you, you can create your custom event website. We will come to that point as well. And as also Cole said, we have webinar functionality, so you can define an event or a session as a webinar. So you can provide those sessions online. As of today, we only support On24 as webinar provider, but more will come definitely. So you can integrate those providers with the event website. And finally, you can have these payment gateways. You can integrate this one by adding some code into the event website, right? So people can buy event passes when they try to register some particular event. Okay. Let's review those one by one quickly. So in terms of the CDS extensibility from marketing standpoint, okay, of course you can reach out to contact entity, account entity, whatever, using the web API, but you can also retrieve, let's say, records from marketing records like segments. For an example, you can change status of a segment, or you can even create segment queries programmatically. Okay, so there are several entity names here for you to understand on how it works. It's not really different than contact entity or other entities. Okay, it's just another entity. And you can also use this web API for having programmatic interaction with the customer journey records, including publishing or validation whenever possible, of course. And there's a customer journey SDK sample, which is a .NET code sample. It is showing how you can use this API. So you can check it out within our public website, so you can understand how to extend, how to use this SDK. It is in the end using the API, web API. So you can use plugins and workflows. This is pretty straightforward, and this could be important. There is an action which is called load interactions public. It can be used to retrieve interactions for a contact programmatically. Okay, this action is really useful for responding some requests, especially the get my data requests, in order to fulfill the GDPR compliance. Okay, let's say that customer came to the company and they said that, okay, let's share my information with me, and then you need to also provide the information of that contact, which resides in the Azure Blob storage as well, in the marketing services as well. So this particular action is totally very useful around fulfilling these particular requests. And I mean, from the customer tile perspective, we have discussed this one. I mean, it can be created to support additional channels such as SMS or social media. You can expose these channels as a tile in the customer journey, so marketers can just drag and drop, okay, and they can just use these particular custom channels. It's really very powerful. I mean, it's just like other customer tiles. Maybe I can just briefly tell you around how to create those. There are just 4 steps. Okay, first step would be creating the entities and forms, okay, to store and display information. Okay, let's say that you would have the SMS functionality, and then you just need to create this SMS entities or SMS activity or SMS forms, okay, to just store this information. And second step would be to develop workflow or plugin, okay, which is used for implementing this custom business logic, okay, like calling an external web service, okay, like pushing these requests into Azure Service Hub. Okay, I'm just giving some examples. And so you define this particular tile, okay, and let's say that you put this tile into customer journey. And as you may know that these when you have this customer journey, these contact flows from one tile into the other tiles. Okay, this is how it works in general when you design the customer journey. In the end, everything is contact. Okay, it will typically start with segmentation. Let's say that you have 10 contacts in the segment, and these 10 contacts will flow into the next tile. And let's say that you have in the next tile a custom tile. Okay, and once a contact flows into this custom tile, custom channel activity record is created. Okay, and as you know, you have developed this plugin or workflow, and those will be triggered. And within the code, you do whatever you'd like to do, and once it finishes its job, it should create the interaction within marketing services by calling an action for further processing. Okay, and third step is to configure and expose this tile, okay, using an XML and CSS file, and you just need to include them into solution, and then you just need to import that solution. Okay, that's it. And of course, the final step would be to test this custom tile, and I think we have really good comprehensive product documentation. Just check out on how to create this one. It's pretty straightforward. If you are familiar on how to extend Dynamics 365 or Power Platform model-driven apps, you should be able to create custom channels within few hours. Okay, it's not a big deal. As you may know, I mean, we have these marketing forms to marketing pages to collect information, and those can be extended using JavaScript. You can perform custom business actions, and typical business action is validation. So you can run these JavaScripts during form load, during rendering of the form, after rendering, or during the form submission. Okay, and you should basically create this JavaScript snippet, and you should include the JavaScript snippet in the HTML, and then I mean it will just work. And here is, you can see some example. I mean, this example works on form submission. It just checks if company name is either Fabricam or Contoso. Otherwise, I mean, this prevents the form submission, and it just throws an error message saying that, I mean, this is you just need to have these particular company names. Okay, this is just one example. And we have recently released this extensibility on state change features. So it is mainly being used to develop approval features. Okay, and when you enable this feature, the standard marketing users no longer see this go live button on the entity forms. It is replaced by the request approval button on the command bar. And I mean, you can use these in multiple entities like customer journey, segment, and other marketing entities. And you should have in those entities some kind of status reasons. Okay, and once you enable these ones, you should have additional status reasons like approve, need approval. Okay, and you should all have these configurations here. And we just do not recommend removing the out of the box status reasons. Okay, just use the out of the box ones. Those should be more than enough. Otherwise, you may encounter some issues if you try to modify these out of the box status reasons within the marketing entities. Okay, and I mean, the comprehensive information you can just find it in the documentation website. And finally, I must say that let's say that you have enabled this feature, but still, in addition enabling and configuring this feature, you need to develop the plugins to prevent users from going live from any unapproved state. Okay, this is still something needs to be handled manually. Okay, and as we discussed, event management feature helps this organization and managing all these events, as also Cole said. Right, I mean, people can read about events, they can read about its speakers, they can create their accounts, they can register for events using this portal, they can purchase passes using the payment gateways, they can view session schedule, they can also check everything on mobile. I mean, everything is to manage events. And by default, we have the out-of-the-box event website, but we typically see that this is not good enough. And another approach to extend this one is to have your own custom portal, custom website. Okay, And you can, we have, as I told you, we have this out-of-the-box event portal, and we have opened its source code. So it's just Angular project. You can just go ahead and download this project, okay, from our download center, and you can customize it. And depending on your, let's say, preferred development environment, you can just build this project. You can either, first option would be overwrite the current version of the out-of-the-box portal. Okay, you can just overwrite, or you can set up a new website on your Dynamics 365 portal. Okay, this is option 2. And as an option 3, you can just host this Angular project on your own server. Okay, so there are 3 options. Okay, but you can choose however you like. And in the entire final site, entire final website will be within just 2 files, mainly just 2 files. There is a JavaScript file named main.js, and there is a style sheet file which is named as styles.css. And from architectural standpoint, this event portal consists 2 parts. We have the front end and the back end. Okay, and the front end, I mean, is totally customizable with Angular frameworks. You can use this liquid template, right? And the source code is provided by us. And from the backend standpoint, we have an events API. Okay, this is to access data of events. Okay, data for sessions, session tracks, passes, speakers, and sponsorships. It's different than the Dynamics 365 Web API. Okay, it's this events API is just hosted in Azure. Okay, so you can just leverage that one. And there are different 2 types of setup. Okay, one is the Dynamics 365 portal hosted setup. Okay, so you are just using the Dynamics 365 portals for deploying your event website. Okay, and if you choose this one, you can totally customize the front end, but the event API, the backend, is not really customizable. Only option here would be exposing new custom fields to the current event management entities. Okay, so this is, let's say that you have the event entity, right? And then you can create a custom field. Then you can expose this field using this API. Okay, but you cannot really include new or custom entities. And another option would be hosting this one in somewhere else. Okay, and if you choose this one, you can of course use the same API, events API, even though you host this one in your own servers, but you can also develop your own backend. Okay, I mean, instead using this one, you can develop this one, but if you choose this one, you need to be careful because you need to take care of all these Dynamics 365 authentication and also other business logic as well. Okay. And let's check out our reporting options for marketing apps. Okay, it's pretty simple. We have 2 options when it comes to marketing reporting. First one is the out-of-the-box insights feature. Okay, and another one is Power BI. Okay, so insights are accessible from a couple of entities, like from contacts. As you can see from the screenshot, right? There is a contact, and you can see this insights tab. And when you click on this insights tab, then you should be able to see these interactions from contact perspective. Okay, and similarly, when you open an email, you have the insights tab, and when you click on the insights tab, you should be able to see all the statistical information from the email perspective. Okay, this is really good to understand what is going on with the campaign. If these, I mean, you can see the success of the mail, you can see whether people are opening really this email or whether they are heart bouncing, right? I mean, you can see all this kind of stuff, but you are not able to really customize those reports. And another option is to create custom analytics using Power BI. So there are, as we said, there are two types of data. We have profile data, we have the interaction data. You can connect to profile data by using a Power BI data connector. It is called CDS for apps. Okay, you can just connect to the CDS by using that connector, and you can also use another connector to access the interaction data. Okay. By the way, there's important information that if you would like to leverage this kind of reporting, the customer should own its own Azure Blob Storage. Okay, this is not included within the marketing license. Okay, and I mean all of this information. We also have really good, let's say, out-of-the-box reports, out-of-the-box analyzers. It's really comprehensive. Our product managers have developed those features by communicating with our customers, and everything which is needed is on this URL. Okay, powerbi.dynamicsmarketing.org. This is really important to review. I think this should be the first place to visit if you would like to do some reporting on the Dynamics 365 app. And today, this is the final topic. It's around the data protection. It's important to understand that our app, marketing app, is prepared to help organizations work in compliance with GDPR and also with other regulations. But still, there should be some configuration and development work. Okay, it does not automatically out of the box complies with GDPR. Okay, for the organizations. Okay, so what you can do, I mean, firstly, you need to learn more about the GDPR and also other regulations in your region. You need to understand there's a really good comprehensive article. You need to consume this one, and you need to really review each paragraph of those. Okay, because I mean there are, as you may know, there are some high fines when you don't comply with the GDPR, and you just need to start preparing for this GDPR compliance. And to start with, you just need to identify where you are storing this personal information. Okay, you need to identify those, and then you need to build the processes to easily discover, deliver this data, or update this data, or delete this data when requested by the customer. Okay, and finally, there's this GDPR features in Dynamics 365 marketing, so you should enable this one and configure. I will talk about this one using next slide. So basically, when you enable this GDPR feature, you should be able to see some fields are being added to the contact entity, okay, to other entities as well, but the most important one is the contact entity. We have three main fields. There's one field which is called consent given. It is the maximum consent level granted by the contact. Okay, so contacts will only be available, only be able to participate in marketing campaigns permitted for this consent level or lower. Okay, this is really important, and this setting can be changed after receiving explicit consent from this contact. Okay, usually you should use a subscription center. Okay, they can navigate to subscription center and they can choose the consent level, and then you can the marketing tool automatically uses this consent level. And whenever you try to include this contact, and if the customer journey is, let's say, for lower consent level customers, then that particular contact will not be included, or the activities will not be run for that particular contact. Okay, and another field is a child, because I mean it's just to indicate that contact is a minor or not, because it requires extra protection. Okay, and there is another field. If this contact is a child, then you need to define its legal parent or guardian. It should be defined in this particular lookup. As I told you, you need to select the minimum consent for customer journey, and the same applies for the lead scoring. And you should include a consent selector in a subscription center, so contacts can go and select their consent level. And by the way, to fully comply with these regulations, especially with the GDPR, you should have double opt-in system. Okay, it just uses email messaging to ensure that all requests to have some change in the contact's consent level, or if contact would like to sign up for a subscription list, you just need to ensure that it's made on purpose. Okay, and it's made on that particular person. Okay. And finally, you need to handle all these get my data, forget me, update my data requests coming from contacts. Okay, and we have provided a couple of useful resources. I mean, you can check those out. In addition to those, on 27th of January, please check our latest release wave, release notes. It will contain lots of good features for marketing app. And that's it from my side. We would like to thank you, and I would like to check whether we have any kind of questions or not. So we will try to address those questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, I think we have only one question left, and Coles is replying to that particular question. So maybe I can also add a bit on this particular question. It is it not recommended to use marketing functionality from sales app, entities, campaign reactions? So marketing app has its own entities for running marketing. Okay, so it's using mainly customer journey for running campaigns, and there is no, let's say, I mean, there are these interaction records for the campaign reaction. Okay, so it is recommended to use with the sales app because you can just hand over these leads. Okay, because you're running this marketing activities to contacts. Okay, and if the contacts are interested in one of your campaign, then those became to leads, and then you just need to hand over those leads to the sales app. Okay, this would be really easy when you use the same instance. Okay, it will be really straightforward. Yeah. So Coles also let's say answered this particular question. And I think we don't have any other questions. If you would have any other questions, please reach us out. Okay, do not hesitate. We will be available on LinkedIn, or contact your Microsoft representative for more information. After the session, the recording will be available. Also, you can also have access to the presentation as well. Coles, before we close up, do you have anything to add?
No, I think thank you very much for joining the session. And as Turgesh said, please do reach out to us. Do not hesitate, and we are more than happy to provide you the help and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you much all. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.